as a pro, but right now is fighting as well as he ever has.
Yes, and that's Effie Schneider, who had quite a layoff here in the 90s, but he came back and gave Jesse James Leija a tremendous fight. You saw it here on Fight Time on Fox a month ago, made Leija work for the entire 10 rounds, really established that he's a kid who has a future.
And the other half of that matchup features another guy who's in the golden years, Mark Fernandez, trying to make the most out of it.
Yeah, but he's more than just your average club fighter. I think, yes, he is a journeyman fighter, but he's been in with a lot of world-class fighters, and Mark Fernandez is the kind of guy who can make it a real tough test tonight for Effie Schneider.
All right, they're in the ring right now. Let's get to it as we take it to the ring announcer, Thomas Triber. Thomas?
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Country Club here in Reseda, California, America presents, and the undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, proudly present to you Fight Time on Fox. Let's get the action started. We have for you, first of all, 10 rounds of boxing in the junior welterweight division, and it is sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission. When the bell rings, the referee in charge of the action will be Chuck Hassett. Introducing to you first, fighting to my left out of the red corner, he's wearing the black trunks with white lettering and weighed in at 138 1/2 pounds. Coming to us from Denver, Colorado, he has a professional record of 33 wins, 16 losses, 1 draw, with 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mark King Cobra Fernandez. And his opponent, fighting directly across from him out of the blue corner, he's wearing the blue and white trunks and weighed in at 140 pounds. Fighting out of California by way of Tel Aviv, Israel. He trains out of 10 Goose Boxing in Van Nuys and has a professional record of 7 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, with 1 win coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Effi, the Israeli bomber, Schneider. Once again, your referee in charge, Chuck Hassett, now to give the instructions.
All right, gentlemen, you had your instructions. Mouthpiece. Mouthpiece. All right, shake hands. Good luck.
Let's take a look at the Budweiser tail of the tape in this one. And each man at 5'7". Fernandez, as you see, 8 years the senior of Schneider, and with a 6-inch reach advantage as well. So Schneider will try to get inside, work off the jab as we take a look at the rules in the state of California. They use the 10-point bus system. 3 knockdown rule is not in effect in California. There's no standing 8 count. Fighter can be saved with the bell only in the final round. Either the referee or the doctor can stop the fight. The headbutt rule, we go to the cards in the 4th round or later. So in other words, after the 3rd round. Round number 1. Schneider in the blue and Fernandez in the black trunks.
When Schneider fought Jesse James Leija here on Fight Time on Fox a month ago, there were many who felt that basically he was just going to be cannon fodder for Jesse Leija in that fight. He had not fought over 6-rounders prior to that and was taking the fight on just a few days' notice, but he showed that he's really paying attention and a much more focused fighter. He gave Leija a very difficult time, and he forced Leija to work. Now, Schneider in that fight wore down in the last couple of rounds, and he was close to being KO'd in the last round. So his stamina's got to be a bit of a problem.
But he lost the fight to Manny Castillo, and then after that took a 3.5-year layoff.
You know, he was a little disappointed with his boxing career and the way that it was going, and he already had a business, in fact, Barry, that was going here in terms of importing and selling dental supplies, and he still got that business going, so he was attending to that and leaving boxing to the side, but now he has once again picked up his interest in the sport, and he says he's focused, although he's keeping his business too.
Figures if he knocks a few teeth out, it's good for business.
That's right.
Pretty good right hand, quick right hand from Schneider.
That's what was so surprising in his fight with Leija. We saw that Schneider really was a very quick-handed fighter in that bout, and I think Leija was very surprised by it. Fernandez is a veteran of 50 fights, and he's just been in with a lot of really good fighters in his career. People like Greg Haugen and current world champion Stevie Johnston, Alfonso Sanchez. Really good fighters throughout his career, and he hasn't beaten the top-notch fighters. That's been the difference between being what is known as a club fighter, a journeyman fighter, and being really a world contender, to be able to step up in class. He has not been able to make that jump. He's fought those guys, hasn't been able to beat the top-notch competition, but in situations such as this, he's handled himself extremely well.
He's at that point in his career that he's got to start to get at least a quality win, because he's managed only 2 wins in his last 11 fights, and so there's not a lot of tomorrows left for Mark Fernandez. He needs to do well in this fight against Schneider. And early in this fight, Schneider's out-quicking Fernandez. Good right hand from Schneider. Very quick right hand.
Yeah, that's his best punch, and it depends so much on that quickness. And Effie, as long as he can maintain his stamina, he can maintain that quickness, and he's going to be a tough guy to handle. You see that left snake out there pretty quickly too.
And the jab of Fernandez in the first round, pretty much ineffective.
Right hand that he was able to utilize such quickness that Fernandez really was not able to get in a ready defensive pose to deal with it.
I think you make a good point that stamina could be the factor in this fight. Fernandez has been the route on many occasions, and until his last fight, Schneider had never gone more than 6. Now, he did go 10 in a losing effort to Leija.
In that Leija fight, I actually thought the referee at the final bell was getting between the two to stop the fight, because Leija was dealing out a good deal of punishment, and Effie just didn't have anything left at that point. But I think he just, since the bell sounded, he let it go to a decision. And basically, Schneider had won about 3 rounds on the cards of all the officials, which was good performance considering the step up in class.
Nice combination to the body and then upstairs by Schneider. Schneider very effective, and again, that quick right hand.
Fernandez just in a retreating mode here, and he's going to need to do something, I think, Barry, to keep Schneider off of him in terms of getting some respect from Schneider, because Schneider is just walking straight forward and having no difficulty in getting to him or shrugging off his punches. And there just aren't many punches coming in from Fernandez.
And Fernandez not even utilizing the jab. There's a rather weak jab from Fernandez, and again, a quick right hand from Schneider, although it missed.
Fernandez, as he turns left-handed here, will let you know that he's coming in off one of the very best fights of his career. He knocked out Chad Broussard. Now, Broussard was 42-2 going into that fight and was fighting in his home in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And basically, Fernandez was just brought in there to be the victim, and Fernandez knocked him out with a body punch. It was quite a shock to everybody, and he took him out of there in 4 rounds.
And a lot of those losses of which we spoke in his last 11 fights came against quality opposition. Back in September, he fought against Greg Haugen, although it's not the same Greg Haugen that was the champion, and he lost a 10-round decision to him. Went over to Italy and lost a fight in April.
Let it go, boy. Bring it to him.
Fernandez also fought James Leija. Also, that was a long time ago, though, back in 1991 when Leija was just getting started. That fight went the distance, and Leija took a 10-round decision.
Keep going forward. Bring it to him.
Now Fernandez is trying to use that jab a little bit to keep Schneider off, but Schneider, with his hands out in front of him, has been able to parry those punches.
Again, going to the body and then coming up. And that's exactly what Joe Goosen had told Effie Schneider between the first and second rounds. We're going to go into that corner and listen to the advice that Joe administers, and I think he's going to say you're doing a good job.
Strong tonight. You know, like I told Effie, he started yelling, or Yolani started yelling something straight. I said, you're on time right now. You know what you're doing in there. You've seen it very well. You look sharp. Take a deep breath. Here's what I need you to start doing, working that body with that right hand a little bit more off your jab, even if you got to wrap it around. Start getting him to drop this a little bit, okay? Take a deep breath again, one more. Through your nose. Hold it. There you go. Take a little rinse. Now you're good to go. You got to do 10, we'll do 10. But you keep on, you got to keep that steady pressure on him. You got to cut the ring off a little bit more, okay? If he turns southpaw, you know what to do. We're going to spar an all southpaw. Last thing I want to tell you is start.
Another good round for Effie Schneider as he keeps coming forward, keeping Fernandez on the defensive. Fernandez so busy worrying about defending himself, he's really not launching any offensive arsenal of his own.
Fernandez begins the third round punching. But he doesn't get a lot on those punches. He kind of squares up and throws his punches.
Be first. Don't wait. Don't wait on it. Be first. Now. Wait. 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 Let it go. There. Let it go. Let it go. Power punch. 3 and 4. Come on. Best hand.
Fernandez a little bit more active as we start this third round.
Effie Schneider does work out in the gym with both of the Ruelas brothers, and so he gets some real excellent sparring and conditioning, obviously, and learning experiences in the gymnasium from working with those two.
Gotta work for it. Cut out. Miss. You get it ready for it. Cut it off the ring. Let's go. Come on. Wait on it. Put that right hand fly. Straight right. Let's go.
And again, the way Fernandez throws his punches, he throws them with his feet parallel.
Right hand hook.
Well, I get the feeling that he just can't get set right, Barry, and sometimes the constant pressure of a guy in front of you will force you into that situation. And I'm sure he'd like to stand there and set up the way that he normally does, but Schneider has been an aggressive force in his face and has made it difficult for him to set up.
This run now, Fernandez is getting off first a little bit more often, and not quite as easy for Schneider just to walk in.
Keep working. Again, Mark. Down. Wait.
There's that jab of Fernandez. Now he's showing some movement here again and throwing the jab on the move.
To the right to the body and the left to the head, though, by Schneider.
Keep working.
Of course, at Fernandez's age, 35 years of age, you wonder how much he can move, really, and keep it up during the course of a fight. And his jab is long and it's pretty good. And I think if he gets it out, he'll work it to good effect, I think, if he utilizes it.
Much more effective in this round than it has been in the first two.
Let him go. Come on. What are you waiting on, Mark?
Clearly Schneider, the heavier-handed of the two. Good right hand from Schneider, drove Fernandez into the ropes.
Let go, Mark. Let go.
And we come to the end of round number 3. Tough round to score.
Hey, basketball fans, now you can try NBA Inside Stuff magazine free. Get inside the locker room and the huddle. See the action.
4 now, Fernandez in the black and Schneider in the blue and white. Fernandez a little bit better round in round number 3, and his corner telling him you got to be the aggressor.
Well, I think he did better in that round, Barry, because he utilized the jab. I don't think necessarily that turning to a southpaw stance is going to change things for him because Schneider has a good right hand. Schneider can slide to the right and square up himself and throw that right hand. I liked Fernandez's jab in that last round, but if he turns around this way, of course, then he eschews that.
Yes. Oh, I like that. Eschews. You don't hear that very much on Fight Night on Fox.
And it's a good thing.
Okay, hold it there. Break, please.
Back off that floor.
Keep working.
Schneider just kind of laying in there on Fernandez and not letting him get off the ropes. Now he turns.
Right now. 3 and 4 at a time, Mark. Mark, what are you working, Mark?
Pick him up. Pick him up.
This round looks like gym work so far.
Yeah, exactly. And nobody really doing much of anything in this round. Short right hand from Fernandez got there.
I think that's the first time that the changing up from left to right-handed really suited Fernandez and worked for him effectively. As he was changing from left-handed to a right-handed stance, Schneider kind of relaxed and he popped him one with a left hook. A nice job by Fernandez.
And neither man really doing a whole lot in this fourth round. And who knows but that this fight might not come down to a fight of attrition.
Well, Schneider's level of activity seems to be diminishing with each succeeding round, and I don't know if that's a case of him trying to pace himself for the long haul because he ran out of gas in that last fight, or if the same thing is beginning to happen to him as happened in the last fight.
Well, this, once again, is a case not so much of who wins the round, but of who loses the round. I'm going to go into Fernandez's corner now, hear what the advice is.
Smart. You ain't getting your shot, you ain't getting your punches on. You know.
I feel it's coming a little bit.
All right.
Maybe slow.
You take a deep breath. Deep breath and let out. Real deep. Deep breath.
It's gonna come.
Deep breath.
I know when now. It's coming.
All right, you're waking up. You're waking up slow. You tasted his best shots. You got to start going after him. I'm going to tell you something. I scored this fight. I gave him every other round. I gave him every round so far. He ain't won a round. Right or wrong?
Right, you ain't won. You're
going back in his backyard.
You fight him.
You know who you are. You go after him. You go after him. And throw them combinations and be first. You're the champ.
I'm coming out.
You're coming now.
Okay, get busy.
You owe this one to Jesus. You understand me? You show me something. You look at me. You'll find it now.
I think that was the generic champ.
I was just wondering what that champ comment was.
Figure of speech.
5.
Well, they definitely want him to be more aggressive here against Effie Schneider.
Bring it to him. Let's wake up.
They just want him to go out there and take it to Schneider, not wait anymore.
Don't wait on him.
You had seven.
Look close. Look closer to him. He's coming forward.
Well, Fernandez unable to heed his corner's advice thus far, and Schneider just staying a little bit busier, and at least on my card, that's the difference in the fight.
Keep coming. Don't wait. Don't wait. Pop, pop.
Well, they're not telling Fernandez in his corner that he's doing beautiful and you're winning the fight and that type of thing.
Quite the contrary.
Come on, home. Bring it home.
Fernandez looks to me as though he wants to pick up his activity level in this round.
Pop it. Bend up. Pop it. Bend up.
It's a right hand from Fernandez, and it was dropped in over the jab.
Effie Schneider, because of that layoff, remember he was out of action for 3 years due to discouragement over his boxing career, and he's 27 now, so basically he's starting at a fairly late age here. He's only had 11 pro fights, so he's going to have to be a kid who moves up the ladder quickly, I think.
Fernandez doing a little bit more now.
Red fight. There it is. Pop it. Make it pay.
Okay, break clean. Break it clean.
Straight shot. Right down the middle.
Fernandez landing a few more punches, Barry, but he's not putting an ounce of hurt on Schneider at all.
On the other hand, Schneider not really doing very much.
Hands are free. Workout.
Do it again.
Mild chant of effi. trying to work the uppercut. He just missed with it a moment ago and came right back with it. Didn't get it done there. Well, we go to the 6th round. Here's our scoring. I have Schneider by a point in this fight. I've given Fernandez 2 rounds, and you've given him 1.
And I would be a little concerned about things in the Joe Gruesome corner, even though I've got Schneider well ahead at this point, because he started off so fast. Those first 2 rounds were gangbusters for him, but he has let up a little bit. And he could be letting Fernandez into the fight.
As you said, he's been 10 rounds just once. That in his last outing against Jesse James Leija. And Fernandez, on the other hand, has been 10 rounds a dozen times. That's Schneider at 27 and Fernandez at 35.
Fernandez picking up in confidence, it looks like to me, Barry, and we must remember he's been in with a lot better fighters than Effi Schneider, so he's certainly not going to be worried about an Effi Schneider, and feels maybe as a veteran that he, taking his time and figuring the kid out. Now maybe he feels that he has figured him out, doing a little better again in this round. Just looks like he's a little more into it here. Again, that long list of fighters that he's fought. Jesse Leija, Greg Haugen, Alfonso Sanchez, Donald Stokes, Stevie Johnston. I mean, all those quality fighters are world champions. Even in losing, you learn.
Starting to bring that right hand behind the jab, and the jab is getting a little bit more crisp. And conversely, Schneider going the other way. I haven't noticed quite as much starch in the punches of Schneider than he had earlier in the fight.
I actually think that Schneider was more impressive in his fight with Jesse Leija, in a fight that he lost, than he has been so far here tonight, in a fight that he, at least we both feel that he is winning up to this point. Maybe because that fight was such a shock, but his hands appeared extremely quick that night. He hit Leija with many solid shots. And after the first 2 rounds here tonight, that hasn't been the case. Effi's seemed a little bit lethargic in there since round 3 on.
There's a right hand from Fernandez that was just a little short. He came back with a right hand to the body. That was a good shot. Remember, he knocked out Broussard with a body shot. Combination from Fernandez. And an uppercut again. That's just a little short, but probably the best round of the fight for Mark Fernandez. We're coming back. Giving Effi Schneider a pretty stern lecture between rounds.
Yeah, Barry, he said that you're letting him back into the fight. He goes, he's not beating you, you're just letting him back into the fight. You're not doing anything the last couple of rounds. And he asked him, he goes, well, you got left 7, 8, 9, and 10. You have trouble going 4 more rounds hard for me? Schneider said no, and so Schneider's come out here a little faster. In fact, a lot faster in the first 30 seconds of the round.
But Fernandez getting a little braver.
I thought Fernandez boxed a very effective round in that last round. Frankly, proving my point wrong from earlier, I thought he boxed much better as a left-hander in that round, Barry. He really was effective out of that left-handed stance in the last round.
Fernandez seemingly wants to fight in close quarters here.
Right back. Here we go. Don't wait on him. Don't wait on that. Get your right hand going first.
Maybe he just feels that, his experience of 50-fight career, that he's going to be much better in that situation.
Really looking to the uppercut quite a lot. He's thrown it probably half a dozen times. There it is again, right on the button.
Yeah, and he's catching Schneider as Schneider walks in. Schneider is very relaxed with his defense as he's coming in at Fernandez, and in this round looking a little bit fairly reckless as he walks in.
And Fernandez really looking to load up with that uppercut. He's just waiting on Schneider.
Leave go, Mark.
And Schneider really sort of pawing with his punches now. There's the uppercut again. He threw it from outside. It's a very tough punch to throw accurately.
But he stepped into it real nicely, and Schneider again walked right into the punch.
There you go. That's it. Go down here. Right back down.
Schneider right now is a bit of a tired fighter. Nice combination from Fernandez. 3 punches all got there. There's a left hand that gets there and a right to the top of the head.
Fernandez getting very bold, and you could see it with each of the last 3 rounds, Barry.
And Schneider just laying in with it.
Watch your elbow, Mark.
There's the uppercut again. So 2 effective rounds in a row now for Mark Fernandez. And again the uppercut, and again the uppercut.
Well, he certainly found the ticket to his victory.
Another good round for Mark Fernandez. Schneider's going to have to stem the bleeding here, and I don't mean literally, but figuratively. There's the uppercut again. Snap the head of Schneider back. Case of experience against inexperience.
And Fernandez, after he figured out what would be his ticket, has gone right to it time and again. Schneider takes a very good punch, and he's taking Fernandez's punch.
That's right. Get on. There you go, Effie.
And again, Fernandez now able to keep Schneider off of him.
You know, the guys like Mark Fernandez make boxing go. You can't have a full-scale sport without the Mark Fernandezes of the sport. This is a guy who travel anywhere. He'll fight a club fighter. He'll fight a champion. He'll give you a good, honest effort every time he comes into the ring. He tries very hard. He's skilled enough to make a good fight each time out. He may not ever be a world champion. He won't ever be a world champion, but believe me, you can't have boxing without guys like Mark Fernandez.
And he's the kind of guy by which your own career in this case being Effie Schneider, is marked. Good left hand by Fernandez. Fernandez is starting to beat up Schneider now.
This fight changed very subtly from about the 4th round, 5th round, 6th round. Because Effie Schneider got off to such a fast start. It looked like it was just going to be a walk in the park for him.
And again, Fernandez is just taking it to Schneider. And Schneider, obviously tired. Punches obviously lacking what they had early in the fight, and he's just kind of laying in with Fernandez. The left hand is starting to get there from Fernandez also.
Okay, break it there, break.
So Fernandez is now on a roll, and we're going into Effie Schneider's corner, and Joe Gooson's going to have to turn to pep talk, I believe.
That's it. All right, 9 and 10. That was good. He had one good uppercut. That's it. You out-hustled him the whole round. Very nice. Now, you got to make something land clean, though. You got to make something land clean, okay? Feel good now, huh? Warmed up, you can fight all day? I only need 6 more minutes. So for the next 6 minutes, you cannot back up off him. You cannot open your arms for an uppercut. You got to be the one that's doing all the work. Okay? Very good. Now, work behind your jab. Don't come in without a jab, Effie. Look for your right hands where you're not letting it go off your jab. I need you to work your right hands, okay? Keep your chin down when you do, but I need you to start getting off some power shots. I think you'll catch them if you throw them. You know what I'm saying? Great. Very good. Very good. hey, you got 6 minutes. You gonna give it to me? All of it? Let me have all of
Point
it. You
that
know
Joe
he's gonna
Goosen
try
made
to do
right at the
everything
end of the
in power.
round about keep your
Go,
chin
Joe.
down. He's been having that chin up at times, and that's when he's getting caught with that uppercut from long range. He's walking straight ahead, chin up, and Fernandez is nailing him with that uppercut.
He started to get hit with that straight left hand in that last round, too.
Fernandez has fought this fight about 50-50 out of a left-handed and right-handed stance. Goosen's message in the corner basically was really hustle out there now in this round. Last 2 rounds, just I try to out-hustle him.
There you go.
Okay, break
And
it.
it's clear that Effie Schneider's activity level is beginning to pick up here over what it was in rounds 5, 6, and 7.
I just think the snap may be out of his punches at this juncture. They've come very close
Hands
to
are
clash
free,
of
work it.
heads in the last couple of rounds also. Good job by Fernandez just to turn Schneider into the ropes. That was a right hand from Schneider that did get there.
Yeah, but you know, it's funny. I expected to see it take more of an effect. It didn't even look like it dented Fernandez. That was a clean right on the chin.
Watch your heads. Watch it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Wait a minute. Time.
And there was the headbutt that we spoke about. Let's see if there's a cut involved here.
Okay. Hey, you watch
But that was the headbutt. You could see that big egg up on the forehead. They've been toying with that for the last couple of rounds, Rich.
It seemed almost inevitable that it was going to happen, and Fernandez really seemed bothered there.
Well, he's got a big mouse, I think, over that eye. We'll try to take a look at it.
Watch your head, Effie.
Pretty good bounce back round, I think, for Schneider. He was much more active.
Yeah, I think he probably won that round just on effort, and that's what Joe Goosen was talking about. Well, still to come, of course, our main event, and in our main event, Tracy Harris-Patterson and Manuel Chavez-Tellez, and we're going to take you right now into the dressing room of Tracy Harris-Patterson. On with us is Tony Stronconi, who is his trainer best tonight. Tony Stronconi, the trainer of Tracy Harris-Patterson. He'll be in our main event. That's coming up against Manuel Chavez-Tellez, who is coming out of Mexico and fighting here in the United States for the first time tonight, and from all reports, a tough hombre. How am I doing with that, Ray? Ray Torres alongside our interpreter, and trying to make sure my pronunciation's all right.
You may have to translate for you.
Yes.
An hombre.
Meanwhile, Schneider, I think, is going to have to get this round to make this a possibility of his winning. There's a right hand from Schneider.
Well, personally, I have him a point ahead going into this last round. Barry, through 9 rounds, I have Schneider on top at 86 to 85. So
come on, work, guys.
I think this is probably a pretty close fight either way, regardless of who's on top.
I have this fight dead even.
Let's see if the home court advantage kind of does Schneider any good right now. He's getting the backing from the fans. He trains not very far from here in the San Fernando Valley area of Los Angeles.
Well, he has really found something in these last couple of rounds that I really didn't think was going to be there, but he has sucked it up pretty well. There was also a clash of heads a moment ago once again.
It could very well be that because of the experience of the Leija fight, he kept a little something in reserve, Barry, for these last couple of rounds.
There's a good left hand. Schneider at the very least showing a lot of heart. And now I think Fernandez is as tired as Schneider.
And a little reckless there, as you saw, as he just ran recklessly in and caught the left hand on the way in.
I think that headbutt, Fernandez really hasn't been the same, I don't believe, since that time.
Yeah, may very well have thrown him off.
Okay, break it there, break it.
Certainly a competitive fight. For Schneider, remember, this is only his 12th pro fight, and going up against a guy with 50 fights. It's a nice performance by Effi.
Okay, hold it there, hold it.
And referee Chuck Haslett.
That's it.
Finally gets the two separated at the bell. So this one is in the books, and on my card, the winner of the final round won the fight. And I had that as being Schneider, but what do I know?
So many people have asked that same question for years.
I only talk about it, you know. We're coming back. We'll find out on the other side of this commercial break. Well, a very competitive first fight between Effi Schneider and Mark Fernandez, and we'll see if the benefit of 50 professional fights has paid off for Mark Fernandez. Schneider came out quickly. I don't think there's any doubt but that he won the first two rounds, and then in the middle rounds, Fernandez started to take over. But in the final couple of rounds, it seems as though Schneider came back, and so I think this fight certainly in the hands of the judges and up for grabs up to the final round, I believe. Let's find out as we take it to Thomas Triber.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards, and we have a unanimous decision. Both Marcos Rosales and Lou Filippo scored about exactly the same, 96-94, and Judge Dick Young scores about 98-92, all in favor of your winner, Effi, the Israeli bomber, Schneider.
Well, very close on two cards, and on one card, actually a lopsided win for Effi Schneider, but nonetheless a good win. He runs his record to 8-3-1, and started fast and finished fast, and that was the story of the night for Effi Schneider as we take you to the center of the ring, and Effi Schneider right now with Rich Murata. Rich?
All right, Effi, you won by 2 points on two of the judges' scorecards. That's the way I saw it, also 96-94. Your last two rounds were very strong, though. Did you save something in reserve this time?
I saved some for the final rounds. I knew he had a lot more experience than I do, and I waited for surprises, so I kept some energy for the last rounds.
Yeah, was that because of the experience of the Leija fight?
Yeah, he's got 50 fights. I just, this is my 12th fight, and I'm in a learning process.
Let's take a look at some of the action here. Now, there was the headbutt, which also occurred, and in fact, we're going to take a look at that if we can. Go ahead and tell us.
Yeah, that was, we clashed heads. That was accidental. We came, he came with his head, I came with my head first, and we just touched heads.
Yeah, you started very strong, I thought, in the fight. Did you try to come out and take command immediately?
The first 4 rounds, I came out strong. And
did you relax or slow down in the middle rounds?
I tried to relax because I see that he's not going anywhere. I try to take my time a little bit and listen to Joe. To do what he tells me to do. Did it trouble you at all that he was switching from southpaw to right-handed back to southpaw at all? Because you ran into a couple of uppercuts a couple of times. It took me off my rhythm. I tried to switch to confuse him a little bit, I guess it worked a little bit.
All right, well, a lot worked for you here tonight. Congratulations on the victory, and we'll look forward to seeing you
I
in the
want
new year.
to say thanks to JJ Beepers, the king of communication. He helps me. And thanks to America Presents for the opportunity. And to Joe Goose, my trainer.
All right, very good. Congratulations, Heavy. Let's go back ringside now to Barry.
All right, thanks, Rich. A well-spoken Effie Schneider runs his record to 8-3-1. He's had 3 impressive fights in a row. Big difference in this one is he won it. So Schneider, a winner over Mark Fernandez, and we're coming back.
Life, it can be difficult. You know that. We all need someone to rely on. Someone that's going to be there. Someone